Crime description. Late at night, two young offenders named Mark, who was 17, and John, who was 16, used a bat to break the front door window to get inside a house to steal valuables. At that time, the family wasn't home. Throughout the robbery, they broke numerous belongings. They did not realize they had triggered the security alarm because it was too quiet for them to hear. Upon leaving the house, police caught them before they could flee. John appeared to look guilty of the crime because he was holding the bag of stolen items. The police arrested them and took them in for interrogation. Circumstances. Mark's parents are addicts of drugs and alcohol. His dad takes his anger out on him and blames him for the lack of money. Mark feels depressed and mad because he feels trapped in his problems. Because of this, he sometimes goes and sleeps at John's house. He only committed the crime because he wanted to get money to go to university. John has a better family than Mark. His parents are very successful and have high expectations for him. John does not like it because they push him too far in his schoolwork. John gets bullied at school because he has very good marks. His only friend is Mark, and his parents dislike the fact that he is friends with him because they think he is a bad influence. John only committed the crime because he wanted to help Mark get the money for university. Background and history. Mark and John were both honor students and both of them did not have any criminal records. But Mark always got very angry for the littlest things, so he always picked fights, and because of this, he had multiple school suspensions and had been expelled twice. On the other hand, John was always very quiet and he never wanted to attract any attention. Attitude and seriousness. When they were in the police station getting interrogated, Mark blamed the crime all on John, but John confessed that it was both their faults and that they both had equal parts in the crime they committed. For he knew that the crime they committed was bad and that they were going to be charged for damaged property, trespassing, theft, and breaking an entry. Role of various individuals and groups in the youth justice process. Since John confessed that he did do the crime, the police officers decided for him to attend the John Howard Society advocacy group, for Mark had to go to court for he did not confess on doing the crime he committed. In the court, both families of the young offender and the victim will be present. The judge decided that Mark will go to the social workers.
Extrajudicial measures. Both are required to issue an apology to the victims and return property to the victims as well. Differently, Mark was referred to by the police to child welfare, a counseling agency, a recreation program, and also was required to see a judge. John, on the other hand, was sentenced to community service and was required to join an advocacy group, John Howard Society. Factors that determined the judge's decision. The reason why both young offenders had to issue an apology to the victims was because of their crime. They put the family through excess stress and damage of their property. They also would have to return property to the victims since they stole multiple things that Mark had been planning to sell for money to help him pay for university, since his parents wouldn't. Sentencing John to community service for 250 hours was to help him learn to help others for the right reasons rather than the wrong reasons for his friends. It was also because he needed a consequence that wasn't too harsh on him since he was honest and was involved with the crime for the wrong reasons. Mark had to be sent to a judge since he did not admit to the crime, and through it he was put into child welfare since his parents were not treating him properly by abusing him, abusing their use of drugs around a minor, and not being responsible for him in general. A recreation program, soccer, to take out his anger on sports much rather than on other people. This program would last for 6 months. A counseling agency for anger management to add on to his use of taking out his rage. To what extent is the justice system fair and equitable for youth? We think that the YCJA is fair as it is because even though serious crimes are committed, it allows the young offenders the privilege of a second chance since they are still growing and learning.